All right, so our recording is in progress. So again, welcome to night 2 of our 3-day finance series here in the month of July. And tonight we're going to be discussing how to invest outside of your job workplace plan. We discussed last night your retirement with your workplace, and tonight we're going to look at some different angles of ways that you can invest, be business owners, make monthly income outside of your job. All right, so let me just pull up our PowerPoint slide for tonight, and then we're gonna rock and we're gonna roll and we're gonna learn. So for the ones that just joined, we ask that you go get a paper and pen because we got a great night of learning. All right. So again, here we got investing outside of retirement. So let's just kind of go through this really quick here. So we covered retirement last night. Tonight we're talking about investing outside of retirement. Tomorrow night, make tomorrow night as well. Tomorrow night will be how to save and invest for your kids. If it's grandparents on here, you want to learn how to invest for your grandchildren, you could do that as well. We're making sure that not only we invest into our lives, but then also to our generation, which is our future generation, which is our kids in itself. So this is going to be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock p.m. Again, each night we're doing this here, we're going to do an Amazon $50 Amazon gift card. So join in tomorrow night as well. So let's just talk about this. Here's one of the reasons why we want to look at investing outside of our job retirement. Oftentimes it's, we get the government, not the government, I'm sorry, we get the regular, I'm in work mode, but we get the regular job retirement match. And then that's really the only thing we do when it comes to investing. But here's one of the reasons why it's important for us, right? Because this is what today America's a society is, right? We're making minimum payments on maxed out credit cards with a finance iPhone. And the whole problem with this right here is people have limited income. And so when they have limited income, this is their type of behaviors where they're making minimum payments, you're only paying the interest. Credit card companies, man, make a killing off you with a finance iPhone that you paying on monthly. It's just killing you. You kind of like hustling backwards. So we want to educate you on some ways where you can create additional income while at the same time have your money working for you. All right, so here's the four things that we really are going to discuss and focus in on tonight. We're going to focus on how can you invest in a business. We're going to look at real estate, REITs. I know you guys may say, some of you guys may be the first time seeing this, but like, what is REIT? So we're going to cover this into detail, look at some examples. We're going to go into some numbers. You guys are going to look at some monthly income. This is going to, tonight is awesome. Dividend income and then IRAs. We're going to discuss that. All right. So I want to focus on this here, right? Investing outside of your retirement when it comes to a business. So this is one particular website that I use here. It's called Biz, Buy, and Sell. And so I want to share that with you here and to kind of show you guys this cool little feature that it has when it comes to looking at different businesses and looking at how can you explore as far as diversifying your different investments or your particular income in itself. All right. So I want you guys here, we'll share these websites with you as well. But again, it's called Biz, Buy, and Sell. So if you've ever wanted to say, if I want to own a business or if I want to own a franchise, this is the website where you can go. You can put any particular state. And let's say, for instance, I'm going to use Florida right here. And then we go down here and we look at these top business categories here. So let's say, for instance, somebody might want to own a gas station. I saw this on social media the other day where I saw there was a daughter and a mother that bought a gas station here in South Florida. You might want to own a storage and warehousing. You might want to own a restaurant. You might want to own a car wash, right? So let's say, for instance, we go right here and we look at the gas stations. This right here, when I click on this here, it's going to show me all the different gas stations that's here in Florida in itself and what it actually costs. So if you look at this one here, right, gas station, corporate owned, no goodwill, lease for, I guess that's, I don't know, what's that, 25 minutes from Jacksonville. Right. So let's look at this here. When we look at this, think about it. Have you ever thought about owning literally a gas station? Now, what this does is it really breaks it down. They're asking $50,000 for this gas station here. Now, it has a description and it has good information. Let's check this out here. Let's read this right here. Chevron gas station truck stop doing 65,000 inside, $120,000 gallon gas, and 30,000 diesel and gaming, $4,000 per month. So I'm assuming this $4,000. Let me go on down here. Station has a restaurant, also rent will be 7,000 per month. So you kind of looking at this here, right? And this is just quick information here, but you can go right here, you can call this number, and you think about it. I don't know, this seems like too good to be true. If your asking price is $50,000, but it seems like this is good income. So we don't always have to just invest into like stocks or, if you want to invest in a business, this right here is a great website where you can go in. And I mean, so all these right here is just different, just gas stations. I mean, now this right here seems more realistic here. Let me just click on this one here really quick. So if I click on this one here, this is a high volume Circle K, right? Let me see where this is at. This one is in Tampa, close to Tampa. They want asking price about $450. So they kind of show you the gallons, the inside sales, $110,000. I'm not sure if that's per month or annual, but I'm assuming because it's 450,000 is per month. Look at this here, guys. The rent is $8,800 a month. The property is not for sale, only the business. So this is one way that we can look at. Say, for instance, you're interested in a gas station. All right. Let's say, for instance, someone might be interested in let's see here, storage and warehouses. This is one thing that kind of always kind of like piqued my interest, right? I mean, we see these all the time, but you can go here and you can look at the realized numbers. They want like $2.4 million right here in Pinellas County, here in Apopka. So they got all different type of businesses, man, that you can just hone in on right here, man. I mean, we got a pharmacy in Les Wynn Financial Community. You can buy pharmacies. You can look at hotels. Now I'm lining up for this one young lady here. She is an African American and she owns a hotel. And I reached out to her. I'm gonna bring her to Les Wynn Financial Community and teach us about how to own a hotel. But if you want to own a hotel, I mean, literally, here's where you could go at to find out if you want to buy a hotel. I mean, if we break this down here, let's say, for instance, we look at this Quinta Inn right here, 99 room quality inn. Let's look at this here. So this 99, so they're asking price for $6.9 million. That's a lot of money. I get it. But let's say, for instance, we got some high rollers in here. Here's where other ways where you can put your money to work. The gross revenue. So this is basically how much money that you would make on an annual basis here. This is $1.9 million that you would be looking at as far as potential gross revenue. That's not bad on a $6.9 million asking price, but I'm sure these numbers here are way out of most people ballparks. But I want to get you guys to get the gist, is look at biz, buy, and sell. And we got other people on here that's even outside the state of Florida. We go right here, for instance, right? If I put in Alabama, you can put in whatever state that you want. You can look at whatever industry that you're looking at, right? So let's say, for instance, we go down here, we might look at, I don't know, I'm gonna pick retail in Alabama. Hit search. Then it's gonna give us all the different things that's in Alabama. Now, one thing I've always been curious about is vending locations, right? Or vending routes. And so this is just money just kind of sitting here. But guess what, guys? We all use vending machines and we still use them. And so you think about it, right? This kind of just breaks it down, $19,500. It breaks down the cost, things of that nature, right? The amount of money that you can make. So biz, buy, sell website is very good when it comes to if you are looking for business to further get business income. So I like this here. I go and explore it, but I wanted to share this with you guys here. So you guys can look at this particular website here, write it down in your notes, because most people ask me, hey, Sherwin, how can I start a business? Well, if you want to start a business and be active, here it is, biz, buy, and sell. I like using this here. All right. So that's that. Okay. So let's go here and move on here to our, move along here with our presentation for the night. So biz, buy, and sell website for our business. Now, Now I want to get to monthly income. And I know many of you guys are curious about how can I get monthly income? And so what we want to focus on is what we call here real estate investment trust. And this right here is a duplex. And oftentimes, if you look at this duplex right here, right, this the first assumption you would make is, man, that's gonna cost me a lot of money to buy this. Then I'm gonna have some tenants. I don't want no phone calls at night in the middle of the night. I don't want to have to worry about if I'm out on vacation, I got tenants calling me. But you can also own physical, no, I'm sorry, instead of owning physical real estate, what you could do is you could buy real estate stocks. All right. And here are some popular real estate stocks here. So you have, for instance, SPG. SPG owns all the large malls in the United States. I'm right here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and the Sawgrass Mall is one of the largest outlet malls in the United States. And SPG, Simon Property Group, owns or leases out. It's the landlord, the tenant to Sawgrass Mall. So Simon Property Group. If you look at here, APTS, right? Apartments, they own multi-unit housing. So these are all different type of investments that you can get and get a monthly income. Now I'm gonna go to a website here and we're gonna play with some numbers, and based upon how much you want to invest, it's going to tell us how much monthly income that you can get. But I want to also give you this monthly paying dividends as well. So someone may ask, hey, Sherwin, what's a dividend? So a dividend is basically you invest into a company. Say, for instance, many of us have Apple, and I have this Apple iPhone, right? And so Apple, you don't only just make money for the stock increasing, but Apple also pays a dividend and say, okay, hey, Rose, thank you for investing in our particular company. Here's all the profits that we made this particular quarter. Because if you are an investor in our company, we want to give back to you through a way of a dividend. And so that could be maybe a small share of their profit sharing, but those dividends add up over time because all you want to do is keep reinvesting those dividends back into that particular stock. So here's an example here of some monthly paying dividends. Now, I want to go here, and this is a cool website, man, that I've discovered that's pretty good here. So let me just go, let me make sure we're still up here. All right, cool. So here we go. Let me share this here. Now, we're going to look at how can you actually make some monthly income. All right. So when we look at the monthly income, we're going to kind of go back and forth between these two, these here. So let's look at our monthly income here, right? So we go right here and we look at SPG. So I go right here and I type in, let me just close these out right here. So I'm gonna go right here, but I'm gonna put in SPG. All right. So this, see right here, this says Simon Property Group. So when I ask Simon Property Group, it's telling me the name, it's giving me the stock symbol. This is kind of sort of like the identifier, like their social security number. All right. They're telling you when the next pay date, when they're next paying their dividend. They're telling you the dividend yield. So someone may ask me, hey, Sherwin, what's the dividend yield? We already discussed the dividend as these companies paying back, but the yield is how much they're going to be paying back on an annual basis. So if you had $1,000, SPG going to pay you 4.5% of that $1,000 that you put into Simon Property Group. All right. So let's say, for instance, right, we take a quantity shares of 100 shares into SPG, and their stock price right now, let me see here. What is their stock price? I could actually look it up here. But if we look at this, right, if you buy 100 shares of SPG, actually, let me see here. I'm looking for the stock price, but I'll look it up. But if you buy 100 shares of SPG, right, the market value on this here would be $12,587. So basically, if you invest $12,587 here into a company that leases out to the largest malls in America, you're going to make on an annual income off this particular investment here, $560. So that's a little bit rough estimate, about $46.67 on a monthly income. All right. Now, We're going to also add, let's say for instance, we're going to go back and add, let's do this here. This is a nice paying dividend, AT&T. So AT&T, their stock price really don't increase, but if you go right here and look at their dividend yield, so Simon Property Group was paying 4.45%, but look at AT&T and their dividend yield. They pay 7.38%. So again, if you go right here and buy 100 shares of AT&T, their market value, if you do 100 shares, that's only 28.20, right? So that's going to give you, let's say for instance, we just add these two together now. That's going to give you a total of say $768 on the annual income. Now let's just do this here. Let's just focus on AT&T for a second. Now let's say for instance, if this is what most retirees do, they don't worry about the stock market. They want income. So AT&T, their stock don't move, but they pay a high dividend when it comes to comparison of all other dividends. So let's increase this here, right? So instead of having $2,000 worth, let's go and increase this to say actually $10,000, right? So let's say for instance, somebody just retired from their job, and let's say for instance, they had $282,000 in their job retirement, and they rolled this over to a rollover IRA. So out of this $282,000 that they have, if they want to invest this into AT&T, getting a dividend yield of 7.38%, right? And AT&T, they pay their dividend on a quarterly basis. This right here would give you a monthly income of $1,733. This is pretty cool, right? Because when you look at dividend paying companies, right, just $20,800 and you can make $1,733, and you keep really keeping your principal, because AT&T stock, it ain't really moving. That's pretty cool, because right now, basically, this example right here is you're basically buying income. Most people retire, they get this $282,000 and then they start spending it. But you can actually start investing it. And at the same time, if you're a retiree, if you're looking for like consistent monthly income, AT&T is one of the strategies what you could possibly invest in, right? And get $1,700 a month. That's pretty cool. All right. Let me see here if I can think of another high paying dividend. Now, this one here is a little bit riskier. It doesn't always pay this, but let me just add this one here. Now, this one here just became popular. And it's paying 11.83%. All right, so this is like our QQQ, what I always talk about, top technology companies. This is all them lumped together, investing into this, and they paying us 11.83 dividends. So let's say, for instance, I'm gonna see if I can do, let's say, for instance, I take 10,000 of this. How much will that be? 10,000 shares. All right, so you take that same, this right here. So we use 282,000 with AT&T. This right here is 224,000. So by it paying 11.83% dividend yield, now your monthly income is $2,211 investing solely into this particular company here. Again, we're not necessarily looking for growth. When I say growth, you're investing in companies like Tesla, Apple, Facebook, where you focus in, like that stock could give you 26,000 if you had $224,000. That stock may give you $20,000 in 1 month, but you're not concerned about growth. You're concerned about income. So this right here gives you income on a consistently on a monthly basis, right? And so this one right here, if you look at it, AT&T paid on a quarterly basis. This one right here pays on a monthly basis. So this right here is why a lot of people like this particular dividend, because it pays monthly. And think about it, if you get $2,200 a month on 200, if you had $224,000 in your retirement and you roll this over and you had this, man, that's a good little chunk of change, because basically you ain't touching your principal. You're just living off the interest on that you're getting on it. So I go back and I want to share this here with you. When we go back and we look at this picture here, instead of going buying this house here that may cost you $224,000, and you got to be dealing with tenants and headaches and toilets. Well, we're finding out if you invest in this REIT and you invest in, say, for instance, the one I just showed you, the QYLD, this $2,211, you ain't dealing with no tenants, you ain't dealing with no toilets, you ain't dealing with no middle of night phone calls, nothing. And probably the best thing about this, when you buy this house now, when we look at real estate, now you got to compete with everybody and their mama on the MLS list, right? And you got to write the big fat check when you buy this house. But when you go and buy the dividends, right, through here, all you're doing is you're putting your money to work right here. So you still going to have your money. It's going to be liquid. So at any time that you want to take this out, you could take it out and you won't get this dividend on this monthly dividend. But this is how much more liquid it is by investing to what we call a REIT, a real estate investment trust, or dividends. Now I want to pause here, and I want to see if anyone has any questions on this here. Now I ain't gonna lie to you guys, this is the bomb. This website right here that puts this in is the bomb. So let's address some questions here.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I see the amount you put in there. That's not my amount, but if you was interested into doing this, instead if I had something enough to say maybe about 30,000 to put in there, instead of me, keeping the money or the monthly payments, can I not reinvest it back in and just allow it to sit and grow continuous until I decide that I want to retire?
Yep, you sure? Who is this talking? I can't pick up the voice.
Rhonda, I'm sorry.
Oh, Rhonda. Oh,
Uh-huh.
Rhonda. I like your thought process on that right there. That's what I'm talking about. So even if I was just kind of giving it just an example from a retiree standpoint,
Oh,
but
okay.
even as a worker, right? That thought process, what you just brought up right there, you're right. Reinvest this to make your account grow even more. And man, now I mean, shit, your retirement income is probably even more now because you're just being able having to grow your account more the way your income can be more when it comes to if you want to go through this particular strategy here. I was trying to get to the 30,000 and see what that would be on a monthly basis here.
About 2,500.
2,500. Let me see.
Yes.
2,500 shares. No, 2,500 shares. Let me see if I take 8,500. What I'm trying to do is I'm looking at this market value here.
Oh, okay.
Let me see here. Let me see if I do 5,000 shares here. Nope, not. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Who said that? Who said 2,500?
Go to get the 30.
Harris.
To get the
Yeah,
30.
so I say do 2,000.
Go to 12. Go to 1250.
Okay,
1250.
1,250.
Somebody done did their math, man.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Man, Brother Dumas, Dr. Brother Dumas, he was active last night. This cat active tonight. He might get that $50 Amazon gift card without me even doing the drawing. I'm just playing, guys. That's how I didn't advertise it, but thank you for that. So if you take 1,250 shares, right, this is close to almost about that 30,000. So if you look at this here, right, and invested in this right here, you're looking at a monthly income as this. I'm sorry, that annual income is this, but on this will be your average monthly income. So I like what Rhonda was saying, as you would take this monthly income and you just reinvest it back to continue to grow your balance over time, which further just enhances your balance to be more. So when you do retire, your income can be more. All right. Yeah, thank you for that, Rhonda. That's a very good thought and perspective. We have any more questions on this here?
So this right here, you would basically invest in this through a traditional brokerage account. But I guess my question would be more so like if you were to do a hierarchy, the first thing that we're looking to do is to invest in with an IRA, then invest into like the company stuff, and then at what point are we starting to think about like a traditional brokerage account where we're looking to invest in something that's going to bring in dividends?
That's a very great question here. And actually, I was supposed to have that as a slide to give you guys the priority. And I actually do. I have it as far as your priority of how you should be investing. And so what I'm going to do, Brother Dumas, remind me at the end of the presentation tonight. I am going to show you guys the breakdown of how you should be investing. Now I'm gonna just tell you here, the first thing what I always recommend is invest up to your job match first, because you know why? That's actually free money. And so you want to take advantage of the free money. And then after you invest up to your job match, then you want to open up a Roth IRA account and take advantage of the tax-free money. Because we know we're going to talk about that here in a little bit as well, right? With a Roth IRA. Your money grows tax-free inside of a Roth IRA. And the most that we could put in a Roth IRA in 1 year is $6,000. Now, if you can't put in $6,000, I would say we stop there until you can get up to the $6,000. And then the third step we would be is if your job offers a health savings account, that's a high deductible health savings account that you paying towards your health care. It's a triple tax advantage to that, because we talked about it last night. The three tax deductibles with that is your contributions in a health savings account lowers your taxable income. The second tax advantage to this is when you put your money towards the health savings account, now this money is going to an account and they give you an option to invest this money. So as you would need this money for healthcare and you don't need it, it continues to roll over every year after every year after every year, versus in your normal way, the way you pay towards your healthcare, you pay into it and then whatever you don't use, it just kind of evaporates. It just kind of go away. But this is an account to where you can pay into it, and whatever you pay into it, that balance continues to grow over time, and they give you an option to invest into it. So this has to be used for qualified healthcare expenses. But outside of the qualified healthcare expenses, right? Once you get to age 65, here's the third tax advantage to this here. You can take this money out and you don't have to use it for any qualified healthcare expenses any longer. And now you're able to take this money out. This nest egg could have grown to, you take a 25-year-old, been investing to this health savings account for say 30 years. This account could easily be $300,000, $400,000. That could be a whole nother nest egg that you've actually created. Now, investing up to your job match, Roth IRA, health savings account, then I would say what you want to do is go back over and open up the brokerage account. And again, we're going to go over these here and line by line in detail, but that's the priority when it comes to investing as a priority. All right. Now, I want to go here and I want to show you this here really quick, because I shared this here in the Facebook group. And so for the ones that's not in our Facebook group, we recommend that you join, man. I mean, I'm posting stuff on there on a daily basis. Let's Win Financial Group. Search it on Facebook, and I'll, as a paying subscriber, we'll add you, and just like with everybody else. But this is a monthly paying dividend here. This is called O Reality. We looked at this here shortly, but I want to share this with you here, right? O Reality is a REIT, is a real estate investment trust. They have leases with companies like CVS, Home Depot, Walmart, you would see AMC, Walmart. So all these big corporations here, right? They pay their lease to this particular O Reality. So it's a very popular REIT with a great dividend history. And as I was showing you guys here with O Reality, let me just go back and show you here really quick. With O Reality, what it does is it pays monthly. So let's go right here. Let me go back here and put this in right here. O Reality, where we at right here? Oh, here we go. O Reality. We add this here. All right. So we look at this here. This yield is 3.98%. You take 100 shares of this here, about $7,000. They give you $23.55 a month. All right. So this is O Reality. Now, what's going to happen is, let's say, for instance, someone, I know you might be having some money just sitting there, right? And you might not want to have it invested into stocks. Here's another way to which you can kind of just look at it. Even if you may have some FOMO, fear of missing out on the real estate market, and you want to invest in real estate, but you don't want to be competing with everybody else, or you don't want to put 5% down or 10% down, this is a good strategy until the real estate market cools off. Let's look at this company right here, what we all familiar with, right? Because I won't say every company, but majority companies, they pay a dividend. Let's look at this one here, right? This is the largest market cap valuable company in the world, Apple. All right. So you will see Apple, they pay a dividend of 0.60%. So this not as high in comparison to what we saw everywhere else. But if you look at Apple growth, this is a growth company. So growth and income do not mix. You're either growth company or either you pay income. But Apple, they pay at least a 0.60% dividend, right? So if you have $14,000 worth of Apple stock, you will literally get about $7.33 for a month, or $88 a year in itself. All right. So you can put any company in here, man, and do it. You will see here they pay quarterly basis as well. All right. Now let's go back over here. We're going to move forward here. So this covers our monthly income. All right. So if you guys are looking to say, Sherwin, I want to make some extra money, and you got some money sitting around, by the way, this one site right here is called, it's through TD Ameritrade. So if you go to TD Ameritrade, they're planning retirement. They have this here to where you can go and kind of play with these numbers here. So TD Ameritrade, planning retirement, and go to income estimator. And here's where you can kind of play with numbers and just find out how much monthly income would be for you. And then if you got any questions too on our one-on-ones, we could go through this in detail, even a little bit more. But for class purposes tonight, I want to share this with you guys. This is how you can make some good monthly income without having your money having to be so volatile with the stock market in itself. All right. So if we have any questions on this here before we move on to the next topic. All right. So now we're going to get into, we're focusing on investing outside of our job retirement. So we looked at businesses. We looked at focusing on real estate investment trusts instead of owning a house. You can own real estate through real estate stocks. All right. Now I put my pitch and I put this one particular quote here because I think it's pretty, relevant to today's society. One of the biggest economic crises we face is a lack of financial literacy. And we're at our jobs and we're working hard. I mentioned this last night, but we don't understand none of these. Well, we probably understand this one here, right? I want to ask this question here. Can anybody tell me, and you can probably have a minute to answer it, because if not, I know you Google it. Can anybody tell me what a self-directed IRA is?
That is when the one I opened up, where pretty much like you open up your own Roth IRA and you just put your own, it's like your own personal savings account, but instead of using it with the bank, it's an investment savings account. Should I say? I don't know if I'm all the way right, but
Hey, you getting there. But let me ask you a question. What do you do with a self-directed IRA? Does anybody know?
It broke up. What did you say? What did you
So what do you do with a self-directed IRA?
Well, you can purchase stocks within that, right? So like recently I just got a few. I did the QQQ, I got Tesla, I got Apple, we did Facebook. So you can pretty much grow your retirement. You fund it, and then you can grow your retirement, your Roth IRA, with the stock that you purchased.
Right, that's good, but I'm looking for just a little bit more, because this one self-directed IRA right here is a little bit different than these two accounts here. Can anybody else add a little bit more to what Christina has provided with the self-directed IRA and what it does? At this particular point, I know you probably done Googling, but somebody else give me a little bit more what self-directed IRAs could do. All right. So this is why I like harping on this here and making this particular statement here, because if they would have taught this in schools in K through 12, we would have been a lot farther than we're at now. So this self-directed IRA, what it does, and Christine, that's a very good answer. We can invest into different stocks, but this here goes even a little bit further. If we want to invest into a business, if we want to invest into real estate, basically what we would do is we would roll over, because a Roth IRA only allows you to invest in stocks. A traditional IRA only invests in stocks, brokerage stocks, index funds, right? But this self-directed IRA, if you want to say, I don't want to just invest into stocks. I want to use some of this money in my Roth IRA, traditional IRA, and I want to roll this over to a self-directed IRA. Now you can use this money right here to go buy your house. So if you need a down payment, you can use this money right here and roll into a self-directed IRA. If you got a business that you want to open up and you don't have enough money in your savings account or your checking account, but you got a retirement account that you can roll over that's sitting in a Roth IRA or traditional IRA, you can roll it over to the self-directed IRA account and use the money that's earmarked in this account to buy a house, real estate, business. And the third factor to this is that you can be a bank. So you can actually loan your money and be a lender to other people by using money in a self-directed IRA. I will give you guys the link for this here. I'll email it to you, but you guys look this up, write this down. This self-directed IRA, it allows you to do a lot more than just invest into stocks, right? So with all those factors I just mentioned, this is a pretty key little thing here, right? So I just kind of want to harp on that just for a little bit. Now we got several people that have some money sitting in an old workplace retirement plan. And I always ask people, would you leave your wallet at your desk when you leave your job? You wouldn't do that. But that's what happens. Most people, when they leave their jobs, they're old retirement money just sitting there. Because you know why? You don't know what to do with it. But what you can do is you can roll it over to a rollover IRA, right? That old retirement plan, roll it over to rollover IRA. So what I want to do is I want to share with you guys these three principles here: the rollover IRA, the Roth IRA, and the traditional IRA. All right. Now, when we focus on these, I want us to look at this here, right? A self-directed IRA, as I mentioned, for real estate, but with a Roth IRA, the limits to this is $6,000 if you're under 50. I posted in the Facebook group today as a gentleman that invested $12,000. He put $6,000 in his Roth IRA for 2019, $6,000 for 2020. He did that last year. So they give you a point where last year for COVID, they was extending to 2019 as far as your contributions, how much you could put in there. So this guy here put in $12,000 for 2019 and 2020 contribution. And he made $4,000 off the $12,000 that he invested. That was over like 30%. So we added that as a Tuesday testimony in our Facebook group today. So this is putting your dollars to work. So if you're under the age of 50, you can contribute $6,000 per year. If you're over the age of 50, you can contribute $7,000 per year. It works the same way with a traditional IRA. And we broke down last night the difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA. And my next slide or here breaks that down. So your traditional is based on money before you pay taxes. So in a traditional IRA, your money is being deferred. You're not paying taxes on it now. So whenever you do withdraw the money, that's when you're going to have to pay taxes. In a Roth IRA, you contribute money that's already been taxed. So you get paid, you've already paid taxes on that money. That's why 9 times out of 10, if you talk to me, I'm going to tell you to open up a Roth IRA account because you've already paid taxes on that money that's going inside a Roth IRA account. And now the money's going to grow tax-free. So you got this whole big nest egg that's growing. And whenever you reach the age of 59 and a half, we talked about this last night in our retirement accounts, that's when we're first eligible to touch our retirement accounts. On a Roth IRA, you don't pay no taxes on all your interest that you earn on account and all your contributions. So that's why the Roth IRA is one of the better accounts to have. All right. Now, when we go back here and we look at this here, this brokerage account, this one right here, all this traditional IRA, Roth IRA, self-directed IRA, and rollover IRA, all these are retirement accounts. But this brokerage account, it ain't no retirement account. It's a regular investment brokerage account. And guess what? You could put unlimited dollars in here. You could take out that money anytime you want, but it won't be taxable. But guess what? A traditional IRA, Roth IRA, self-directed IRA, and a rollover IRA, you really can't touch this money until you get 59 and a half. But when you go right here to this brokerage account, if you got $1 million in this account right here and you're 35, you're not worried about no retirement account because you could retire right here if you got $1 million in this account and life is a hell of a lot different for you. But because these retirement accounts, we can't touch them until we're 59 and a half. So some people might say, hey, look, I want to retire before 59 and a half. I don't want to just have my money sitting in here and I can't touch it till 59 and a half. Well, you can open up this brokerage account. And if you really want to start investing heavily and saying, I don't want to wait, you could build this brokerage account up. You get $200,000 in here. Your life is a little bit different if you got $200,000 in a brokerage account at the age of 50. Life is a little bit different there. All right. So I want to go here, and you guys know I really like investing here through Fidelity. I want to break these even down here for you a little bit more through the Fidelity site, and then kind of run some different examples and different scenarios in itself.
Excuse me, Shirley.
Go ahead.
Hi. So you said on the brokerage account, you say you have to pay taxes, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, now that's one
Okay.
thing you got to do. You got to pay taxes. Yeah. But you only pay taxes on the interest that you earn on the account. You don't pay taxes on your contribution.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Now we're going to focus on this Roth IRA for a minute here, right? So this one right here says it's a powerful way to save for retirement. But the thing I like about the Roth IRA is this right here. You can withdraw your contributions at any time for any reason without taxes or penalties. So think about this here. If you got a Roth IRA account, like that gentleman I told that put $12,000 into this account, if he had an emergency, need to take some money out, if he wanted to take $8,000 out of that $12,000 that he contributed, he could take the $8,000 out without paying taxes for any time, any reason. So no taxes and penalties. So that's why the Roth IRA account is pretty darn flexible. It's like a savings account on steroids. So this is why I say the Roth IRA account is phenomenal. Because I'll use this example here, for instance, right? If I take a 30-year-old and let's say, for instance, let's just use this right here, this same gentleman right here. He put $12,000 between his 2019 and his 2020 contribution. And this gentleman here, I'll just say, for instance, he was 32, right? And let's say, for instance, if he maxed out his Roth IRA every single year, that's $6,000. But we also discuss right here when this gentleman, when he get 50, he can start contributing now an additional $1,000, so $7,000, right? So we take the 7,000 right here, and we take this all the way down here to the age of 59 and a half here, right? So this is going to be pretty key, because now if we go right here at 59, for instance, right, this is now $1 million in a Roth IRA account that this gentleman has to pay no taxes on. Now, as I was showing last night in your contributions here, which is a running balance, this is what he's been contributing. So at any time at 41, he would contribute $60,000. At any point, he could take this money out without being taxed or penalized on it. He get a 38, he got $42,000. You take this money out right here, won't be taxed or penalized at all. He get to 50, he might not even have touched it yet, right? He got $115,000 in here. So anything that he's contributed, he don't have to pay taxes on it or be penalized on it. But once he get 59 and a half, everything that he's contributed, right? Say, for instance, at this particular scenario, $178,000, this is what he's contributed. But now this account balance is worth $1 million because we're focusing on him getting a 10% annualized return. Now that's huge. So you look at the difference, he made about $900,000, right? If you look at the difference here, let me go right here. If you look at the difference between this here, let's say $800,000, right? That's the interest that he earned on this account. He don't have to pay no taxes on it. If this was a traditional account, he will have to pay taxes. All right. That's key. That's very important here. Now, I do want to share with you guys this rollover IRA account and just kind of show you how that works a little bit here. So let me just log in here to my Fidelity site. So I want to pause here while I log in. Does anybody have any questions at this particular point in time? All right. We're also going to have a point later on here in about a few minutes because I'm almost done with tonight's sessions here, right? But I just want to show you guys this really quick. This is how a rollover IRA works here. Let me go back here. Let me share my screen. All right. So if you have a rollover IRA account, all right. Now, this is how this works. This is through Fidelity. All right, it's Fidelity website. So what I did was I went over here, I went to transfers. And what happens is you got two different type of accounts here, right? So if you want to transfer a workplace account like a 401k or 403b, so you done with your job, you retired, or let's say for instance, you left your job and you want to transfer your workplace plan, you can go right here and start this rollover process right here. If you got a regular IRA account or individual brokerage account, you would select this right here and start this transfer. Let's say, for instance, you got an account with Charles Schwab. You can go right here, start this process here. You would go hit start the transfer. It's going to ask you, okay, which company are you with? You will say Charles Schwab. You will go here. You will put in your account number. You will hit next. You will put in your Charles Schwab account number. You will select, okay, it's for instance, it might be a rollover IRA. You select that and then you move forward. I don't have account number here, so I can't move forward. That's just simple how simple a rollover IRA works. As far as instead of having your money sitting at an old workplace or just money sitting where you don't have no control over it, the rollover IRA, that's what you want to take advantage of. That's pretty cool to have in itself. Now I want to show you here really quick the brokerage account, and that'll be the last thing that I share here with you. So let me just break that down as well. So we talked about the brokerage account does not necessarily, you don't have to be tied to a certain age. This is it here, regular brokerage account. So this right here, if you want to retire early, this is it right here. Instead of having to wait to 59 and a half, you can invest in whatever you want, any index fund, so forth. This is your brokerage account. All right. So that's kind of it there. All right. Now we kind of break this down here into detail a little bit more. And then let me see here. So let me just go back here, share screen. All right. So right here, this right here breaks it down even further. All right. So if you look at, you have an IRA, whether it's a Roth or traditional, you have your retirement accounts, what we talked about last night, and you have your regular brokerage account. And you will see the limits for each one of these here. So in your job, I don't care if it's a 401k, 403b, the government says that you can contribute $19,500. This is the maximum amount that you can invest in for 2021. Any IRA account outside of your job. So you can invest into a Roth 401k, a Roth 403b, Roth 457, up to $19,500. But outside of your job IRA, you could do $6,000. And with a regular tax brokerage account, man, look, there's no limit to this. If you won the lottery and you won $3 million and you want to invest the money, you would see it right up in here. All right. So, excuse me, this right here just kind of breaks down this particular chart here. We already discussed the traditional and the Roth. If you guys have questions on that, we can harp on that. But this is it, what I have for you guys tonight. I mean, the main thing that we discuss is the monthly income. All right. So I want to share this particular site with you guys to be able to use for the monthly income and to be able to take advantage of that. All right. So I want to pause here. Let's see, Akila, you have your hands up. Let's address your questions. Let's address all the questions now.
So if I am, let's say I am unable to get my max 19.5, right? Mm-hmm. Should I still be doing the IRA contributions as well?
You confused me. Ask that one more time.
So like so this is on the one at my job.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got you.
Put in 19.5, right?
Right.
But if I'm not touching that 19.5, like if I don't even reach putting in 19.5, should I even put anything other in the IRA?
So let me just tell you this here, with your job, the really thing that you want to focus on is just investing up to your match.
Yeah.
So whatever your job match is, let's say for instance, it's 5%. You want to get up to that 5%, and literally that's it. But let's just say, for instance, right now, this is not for a lot of people. If you make a lot of money, right, and there's only a few people in the Let's Win financial community, and when I say classify make a lot of money, you want to max out your Roth IRA account at 19,500 because you want to have it all in pre-tax because it's going to lower your taxable income. But don't worry about that if you do not make a lot of money. We talked about that last night. If you guys go back and review that, we looked at the different tax brackets. So I could probably think about 5 people in the Let's Win financial community that literally I'm telling them, if they don't max out their Roth IRA, I mean their 401k accounts at 19,500, Uncle Sam gonna take it. So either you invest into yourself and lower your taxable income, or Uncle Sam gonna get it. And I got a couple of them here on the call tonight. So I don't want to mix and match that. But if your income is not that high, invest up to your match, get whatever that match is, and then the next step in the line is to max out your Roth IRA at $6,000, because your Roth IRA is outside of your job. That makes sense?
Yes, thank you.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Any more questions here? I'm putting everybody's names in this random picker list here. So let's get some more questions in.
Are you going to discuss the order by which we should organize our investments? You said.
Right. That's very, very good here. I was actually looking for that. I have it here. And so I'm gonna get that here. Let me find that really quick here. Now, let me see here. Let me see if I could find that. And Brother Rick, while I find that, I am going to take some more questions here while I look for that and share that as well. Let's take another question while I look for that.
Hey, Brother Sharon, this is Jeff.
Brother Jeff, what's going on, buddy?
All right. Quick question. On a brokerage account,
Mm-hmm.
could you open that up for your child if your child have a certain amount of money that'll be probably, coming to them, or could you use that, or just the regular traditional Roth IRA?
You know what?
Which one
So
would be
that's a very great question. So we're going to really discuss that in detail tomorrow night. But what's going to happen is, right, for the child, if it's just a general investment account, yeah, you can open up the what we call the custodial account and use that money to get it working now. Now, the only time that you can open up a Roth IRA account is as long as you have earned income. And a child can open up a Roth IRA account as long as they have earned income. And so that's pretty important, for us to have the Roth IRA. But if they're not working and you still want to invest money into your kids, then that's where the custodial account opens up. And then we're going to discuss that in detail really tomorrow night. But that custodial account is pretty key in itself. All right. Great question here. I'll kind of show you an example of that here in a minute if you want to play around with some different numbers here. All right. Let me see here. Okay. All right. So Brother Rick, I am looking for that priority of how we invest. Man, I had it. Here it is right here. I got it right here. All right, let me just let me do this right here. Let me share this right here. So this is your order. This is your order of precedence for investing. All right. So as I was mentioning, right, you want to, first of all, I'm gonna tell you guys, if you got a phone, take a screenshot of this. This is how you should be your order of investing. You take advantage of your job match because it's free money. So Akila, we got to find out what that match is. And I'm sure you found out, you just ain't got back to me, right?
It's 4%.
It's 4%. All right. So in your particular case, you would contribute up to 4%. You get your match. And then the next thing you will focus on is the Roth IRA account, because we know this money here is growing tax-free. All right. $6,000 if you're under the age of 50, $7,000 if you're over the age of 50. Then I mentioned if your job has a health savings account, it's a triple tax advantage, as I mentioned. If you're single, you could do $3,600, but if you're married, you could do $7,200 as far as your annual contributions. All right. If your job does not have a health savings account, basically what you do is you can go back here to your retirement account. Now, these next two steps just depends on your particular income. So if someone is a high income tax bracket, like I think it's 2 people on here that I see that's pretty in that 24 to 32% tax bracket, we say go back to your 401k account and max it out. If not, then you can go right here to this taxable brokerage account and start put money in here and start preparing yourself for early retirement, or if you want to save for a house, a car, for any reason, you can have this account here where it's not tied to a certain age and a certain contribution limit. And then you start some generational wealth building by investing into your kids. All right, go ahead, Ron. I see your hand up.
So is there any purpose of even having a savings account? Like, I mean,
It really is. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because all these accounts here, you're actually investing. So the market actually fluctuate, right? So you could put in, say, $10,000 from your savings account to investment account. And if we have one bad month in the market and it may go down, say 2%, now that money that you had sitting in your savings account of $10,000 and you start investing, it went down 2%. Now it's $8,000. You might need that money for your emergencies. So say, for instance, you lose your job, instead of having $10,000, now you only have $8,000. So I will only say a savings account, if your job is very secure, very secure, I would say have maximum 3 months worth of expenses. But if your job is not secure and you don't know how long you're going to be there, you need to have about 6 months worth of expenses saved in the savings account. So in the event anything happens, you're kind of secured for at least those 6 months. But again, I'll be honest with you. I shared the other day with y'all guys with my numbers on the Facebook group, right? And I'm actually excited about doing our net worth for August because we're literally hitting our goal. I'll share those numbers with you. But maximum, Leslie, I only have $15,000 in our savings account. I don't believe, because that money is not working for me. So I don't put a lot of my money into that savings account because I want my money working for me in these type avenues. But the $15,000, in the event something happens, I could pull from the $15,000, or we have a lot of money here in our Roth IRA accounts where we know that a lot of money that we've contributed to these accounts, we could take out in the event if we need to take out if something happens over $15,000. This would be our second avenue to take out the money because we won't be taxed or penalized on our contributions inside of a Roth IRA account. All right. So, Ronald, that's a good question, though. So the savings account is important. We need that. Like, if something, if we lose our job, we still can go to these accounts, but that savings account is the security, and they ain't paying nothing. I get it. So, good question. All right. So I want to discuss this right here, the generational wealth building. So Jeff, check this out here really quick. We go back here, right? And let's just play around with this, right? So I think, let's say, for instance, if you have, say, a child at, say, 16, right? And I don't know, man, let's just say, for instance, you put $1,000 in this account. I don't know, let's make this even younger. You got a 9-year-old child and you put $1,000 in this regular general investment account per year. All right. So, and like I said, we're gonna go over this in detail tomorrow night, but you take that $1,000 here, right? And now this $1,000 that you're doing every year for this particular child is now worth, when they graduate high school, is $17,000. All right, based on a 10% annualized return. This is about average because this is what the S&P 500 does, right? You would have contributed in this particular case right here. You would have contributed $10,000, right? But your investments would have grown about $7,500 based off your $10,000 investment, right? So let's just say, for instance, Jeff, you got grandma and grandpa gave you some inheritance money, right? And we start off with a certain balance. So let's say, for instance, we start off here, grandpa give you $40,000, right? For this 9-year-old child, and you still want to contribute towards this right here, right? To create some straight generational wealth building. Basically, what you would do is you would open up a regular custodial account for your particular child. You start out with this 40,000, you contribute this 9,000. You will see here, this is now worth about $121,000 here. All right. And one of the ways that you could do this here is, let me just show you this here really quick. This is where it's at on the Fidelity site. And this will be the last thing. Like I said, I'll go into detail on this tomorrow. But if you go into the Fidelity site, if you're ever looking for this here, for investing to kids really quick, you will go right here, open an account, and we will want to go to all accounts. And it's going to tell you saving and investing for children. So this custodial account right here, right, is what you will want to do just for a straight general investment account for a child. Now, one thing what Fidelity says with this here, with this custodial account, it's a direct way to transfer wealth. So this is a wealth building account. I'll talk about this tomorrow, but it goes against any student loans if your kid got to get with student loans. We'll talk about that all tomorrow night. All right. So I want to pause.
Thanks,
Yeah. All right. You're welcome. So I want to pause here to see if we have any final questions before we do our drawing tonight. Now, let me just say this here. Let me pull up this drawing here, because there's some people on here, as I was mentioning last night, your instead of saying your name, it says iPhone. So from when it says iPhone, I don't know your name. So here's all the names that I have so far here. If your name is not here, and let me just keep scrolling. I'm gonna start here. So if you don't see your name, let me know and I will add it. And so we can get your name here in this particular drawing.
Paris.
Paris. Okay. I'm sorry, Tiffany from Tampa. I screwed your name up. So we got Paris. Who else we got on here that don't see their name?
I'm here, Sharon.
Who was that?
It's
Oh,
A.
A. Oh, yeah, that's right. A. You said TA last night. I should have known better than that. All right. Who else we got?
Sure, when I'm here.
Oh, Miss James. All right. And then who was that after Miss James?
Sean.
Oh, yeah, Sean. All right. Let me see here. Who else don't see their name? All right. We're going once. We're going twice. We're going for the third time. All right. So before we do this here, before I pick the random here, I want to thank you guys for joining in tonight. Join us tomorrow night. Again, we're going to be doing the same thing, but we're exclusively talking about children in itself. So this particular class night will be on the website tomorrow on the client portal. Let me just share this here really quick. I know I got you guys waiting in anticipation here, but check this out, guys. To go back and see all of these particular classes, webinars, go to the website, Let's Win Financial. When you go here, you go to your client portal, right? This is access to every single body, right? You go to your client portal. For me, I log in here every day, but it's going to ask you for a password. You type in Let's Win Financial, all lowercase, all together. And it's going to give you all the different classes here we've done in the past. My computer here is a little bit slow. It's going to pull them up here. But you guys should go here and look at all our webinars, all our cryptocurrency. I think Rhonda, you was asking about that. We got Steve here. Both of Steve cryptocurrency webinars is right here, all right? They're all on here. So this is a wealth of knowledge here on the website that we have saved. And so tomorrow morning, when you guys log in, if you missed last night class, you can go here, my wealth developer, he's going to have both of these classes posted by tomorrow morning. All right. So Let's Win Financial Client Portal. Let's Win Financial. All right. Let's do this, guys. Here we go. Random picker. Here we go. Let's see here. Who's going to be our winner tonight? All right. So let me scroll down. And it's going to tell us right here. Who is this here? Oh, Erica. Congratulations, Erica, out of, I ain't going to tell you location, but congratulations for tonight's $50 Amazon gift.
Yay!
So Erica's one of our 19,500 contributors as well. So, but so I want to say thank you guys for joining in tonight. And so hopefully see you guys tomorrow night. But if you got any questions, just reach out to me. But again, these will be posted tomorrow night as well. You guys be blessed, be well. And as always, let's continue to win. All right, guys. Good night.